listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the episode of 23 Personnel Podcast. This is your host, Spencer, joined by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
You know, Spencer, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. I left my family to be on this podcast. I took the job to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed my mind. I understand you got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come on this podcast. I've poured every ounce of my soul into this podcast, and I've given this podcast every single ounce I can possibly give. So write that.
Write that, Jack. And they did. And 12 hours later.
So they did.
12 hours later. Hey, you remember when you said this? Oh, yeah, well, about that. Dude, I'm so excited just to watch this unfold. We're obviously referencing Schlossnagel's quote after losing the national title game last night, asked about rumors about his next job or whether or not he's going to be the next coach at Texas or if he's going to be at A&M, blah, blah, blah. He said that, except replace job with, or podcast with job.
Yeah, pretty much.
To then take the Texas job.
From TCU to Texas A&M to UT. Just, burning lots of bridges. But at least he gets to be closer to his family now.
Does he, though?
Yes. And let's see. Yeah.
I guess
Austin's closer than Fort Worth than College Station. I wonder if so. Those of you listening, Spencer and I always put like a cheeky subject on our video chat thing, and mine is which McDonald's, because I wonder. I was looking around. There's not a ton of small town McDonald's north of Austin. But I guess I should have been looking north of College Station if I'm truly. That's where I went wrong. I just don't know where Del Conte made the deal. That's all I was looking for.
Well, he was coming from Omaha. It may have been up in Plainview. May have just gone back to the same spot.
Let me see.
He's like, y'all are north of us. We'll just meet you halfway.
Let me see if there's a McDonald's roughly 45 minutes north of College Station in a town of about 20,000 people. And I'll just assume that's where they met.
I kind of wish that you could, like, on Google Maps or Apple, whatever your preferred service is, you're like, hey, like, what's within an hour drive of me? And just see that shape. It's not going to be a circle, but just, if I want to stay within an hour's drive, what falls in that space?
There's probably McDonald's.
Probably. In a Walmart.
Or an Allsup's.
Maybe.
Well, there's definitely a Toot and Totem. There's probably 14 damn Toot and Totems.
TK, DK, whatever they're called.
A 6 block radius here in Lubbock, Texas now.
That makes no sense.
Ridiculous.
We're gonna talk about the College World Series, the series, the final series, the finals between A&M and Tennessee a little bit. There was stuff that came out as the day that we recorded last week about naming rights for the conference, and we'll touch on that in a possible schedule update for Texas Tech football. And Schlossnagel, of course. We have to just lap up those Aggie tears. And then we're not going to pick a winner on the Final Four sauces. What we're going to do, Michael and I are going to seed them, and then you're going to pick you, the listener, we're going to have Twitter polls run where you will decide. And we'll have a beefy "What do we learn?" section.
Oh yeah, it's loaded, chock full.
Loaded. I do and I don't want to talk about my experience in Portland. I'll just say I'm back. It was a learning experience, all the way around. It was long. I was there Sunday to Monday. What's no, I guess just 2 days. No, I was there a week and a day. Have
Yeah,
a
I've never
newfound
traveled that long for work. That's got to feel even longer.
newfound appreciation for the absence of labor unions in Texas. Well, at least in healthcare, because I know in the airline industry, like the pilots, I think are all in a union. So there are some Texas workforces that have to deal with that. But nurses, no. And so again, I have a newfound appreciation for that. The Southern hospitality that even us out in West Texas and South Plains, Texas, get to enjoy. Fine people I worked with in Portland, but I mean, I was there essentially 8 days, and I entertained myself 7 of those 8 days. It's like, okay, thanks, guys. Just hanging out in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Till I find something else to do. I did try lots of good pizza, though.
That's good. Well, and it's not like when I travel mostly these days, it's for a conference, and so usually there are things to entertain you that have been designed for you. You went to just truly work. It's like you just went to your job in another area, and that's just a whole different thing. When I would do field work or something, yeah, you'd have a tough day doing some surveying or being out in the field, and but then you were too tired to do anything else, so you just like showered and ate and went to bed. But I was never gone for 7 days.
Yeah. So like traveling up there last Sunday, not a problem. I ate at this really cool pub around the corner from my hotel. Enjoyed a dang good patty melt. And then Monday I was in the downtown like admin offices getting situated and plugged in with the team and all that kind of stuff, getting the load on the incident since the strike officially started on Tuesday morning. Tuesday, dark and early, I reported to the hospital. The strike started at 6. I was on campus at 4:30. And I had a full day. Wednesday and Thursday were mostly quiet days. And then the shenanigans that the union was pulling, we had a big Friday. So I was there again at 4:30 on Friday. Worked a full day Friday. Like Friday was 14 hours. Tuesday was 14 hours. Saturday, I was like, everything was like, well, everything's cool. We're not officially out of the woods yet, but we're gonna go virtual. Like, if things crop up, we'll call you in, but stay by your phone, basically. Saturday was the day of adventures. I went to checked out one of the local big parks and arboretums downtown Portland, and then me and some other Covenant co-workers of mine made the trek out to Hood Mountain, well, Multnomah Falls, and then Hood Mountain, Mount Hood, whatever you call it. Checked out a winery and a restaurant out there on the water. So it was a long day Saturday, but it was all free time. And then Sunday, I had a disastrous start, overslept my alarm, and had to fly back on standby. So instead of landing at 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon, I landed at 11:30 a.m. Monday. Spent, an extra almost 24 hours in an airport.
Did you at least have a little room in that flight, that late night flight from Portland to Dallas?
You know what sucks? And I'm just thinking about it. I paid for seat upgrades all the way to get extra leg room. And while I had to forfeit those on the flights back. I didn't really even consider that. But
Well, did you
here
have
we
someone
are.
next to you?
Yes.
Wow.
These flights were booked solid. Uh, Sunday night, so I took off, finally left Portland at midnight Sunday night. I was not on an exit row like I wanted. I was one row ahead of it though. I was like, one row off. It was cramped enough, like I couldn't get comfortable enough to sleep. Like I couldn't lean forward, I couldn't lean back. I was on the aisle, I wasn't going to lean on the person next to me. So I was like, here we are for 3 hours in the dark. Couldn't fall asleep. So that was fun. And then the flight from Dallas to Lubbock yesterday, again, I was cramped next to other gigantic human being men. Recognizing I'm a large individual, the person next to me and the person in front of me easily 6'5", 6'6", 300 plus. I was like, I was there, guys. I was there. I understand it. This would have been a mess.
Well, you didn't get any shorter, though.
No, I didn't get any shorter. Dude in front of me never sat his seat up.
I was gonna say the opposite. I was about to brag on him. What a champion! I was thinking, what a champion for never leaning your seat back, but because I never do that.
Other way around.
That's the worst.
To be fair, I never saw him lean it back, so it could have been leaning back, and he just never like recognized it.
I overcompensate when that happens. Like I'm the guy who's grabbing the seat and pulling it back and being like, "Oh, I don't know. It's not me. I'm not the one." I'll do it like 2 or 3 times in the flight just to make sure they know that I'm not the one leaning the seat back. Yeah. And they're like 5'3" back there, but I don't know. Got their legs crossed.
But I had to climb into my seat, like one leg at a time, just to get it. Like it was. Anyways, home. Don't take for granted Southern hospitality. Good barbecue, Dr. Pepper. Being able to look somebody in the eye, smile at them, and have them smile back. You know how many times I did that in like Portland, and like I got like a strange look. I was like, "No, I'm not from around here, but thanks for making me feel welcome."
They were.
I stuck out so bad. I tried not to be like that guy. We talked about last week the whole yes sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Had to cut that from my vocabulary. I was tried so hard. I couldn't not acknowledge people and smile and give them the nod or whatever. Blank stares, like, who the hell are you?
They weren't following for your southern ways.
No, I felt so good when I landed in Dallas. It was
the
like,
Riz.
My people.
Is that what they call it?
Riz.
Were you showing
Texas
them the
Riz? It's Texas Riz, y'all. Forget
Texas
Ohio
Riz.
Yeah. Anyways, that was a long tangent.
It's the off season. It's fine.
It is officially off season. With that, let's talk baseball. We'll get back to the football in a second. Baseball's over. Finals were yesterday. It went full 3 games between Texas A&M and Tennessee. Okay, I didn't watch much, if any, of game 1 on Saturday. It was the day I was running around a bunch. But 2 of the nurses I was in the car with were A&M fans, and I was like, "Go Vols!" And that's of course the game that they won. So I was like, whatever, it's cool.
It's just one game. It's just one game.
It's exciting. Guys. Yeah, it's whatever. One game. And they're like, yeah, but watch, we'll probably like lose game 2, and like, well, we'll have to come back in game 3. I was like, that would be entertaining. I want to watch good baseball. And Texas A&M is a good team, a dang good team. They had a really entertaining series. They lost, which was also entertaining. Watched all of game 2 in the airport. Loved that. No. Yes. And then game 3 last night. here at the house. Watched that, enjoyed that. It was getting a little butt clinchy, whatever you want to say, as Tennessee had that lead, but like in the 8th and 9th innings, made it real interesting where A&M got it to within one run. But as somebody had no rooting interest besides like my mom went to Tennessee, and I can just like I'd rather them win than A&M. I was like, that doesn't matter. It's fun. We're having fun here. If A&M wins, yeah, they'll be insufferable. But since they left the conference, I haven't really had to deal with them or hear about them or whatever. I don't see a lot of A&M people outside of these two nurses. I saw one of them again today. I didn't say anything to him. I should have. Like, go Vols. The icing, though, Michael, was Schlossnagel leaving A&M to Texas. And if that doesn't just feed into their insecurity and little brother, like, one, he did himself no favors with that quote that you personalized with the podcast. To then come back and leave A&M the day after they lose on a shot at the national title to their in-state rival, who's now in conference again, who they left. They left the Big 12 to get away from Texas.
To escape, yeah.
And Texas is like, not so fast. We're coming with you. 12 years later, but here we come.
We're bringing your former baseball coach.
We're taking your coach from you. My goodness. Hate how much I'm enjoying this.
Here's how I found this out. So same as you, I don't have a lot of Aggie friends or folks that I know who are Aggie fans or anything like that. And the few I have, I've met through work, and I really like them. And so I was on the treadmill this evening, and I hadn't been checking Twitter at all. And my friend who is an Aggie fan, I was purposefully giving him a full day. Like we both do that for each other. He does that for me too. He's like, "Hey, check it in, after a big tech loss or something. How's it going?" And when Beard left, that sort of thing too. He was kind of, "Hey, how you doing?" So I respect that as well for him. And I hadn't texted him yet, and so I get a text while I was on the treadmill. Man, this is such a gut punch. I can't believe this, and I had no idea it had happened. And so he was the one who broke the news to me. And then I get on Twitter, and it's just all over the place. And I couldn't believe it because I thought, well, don't take a coach for his word. We've learned that. But I still was shocked that it actually happened. That was really, really a thing. But yeah, he's expecting a bench clearing brawl when they play Texas next year. And he's going to be disappointed if that doesn't happen. And it could happen, but I don't know if they play them. One, I don't know SEC schedule because I don't give a shit about the SEC, so I don't know their schedule.
Here we go.
And two, I don't know where it's hosted. So if it's at College Station, then it could get a little bit heated. If it's at UT, who cares?
Well, it only get heated between the fans though. Like the players probably have very little. I mean, like think about
have some. Who knows what he said to them in those last few days, and then leaves.
I mean, yeah, he may have some hurt feelings. Let's be fair. Like the players may have some abandonment type of feelings, whatever how you ever want to attribute that. But think about when the Longhorns came to play in Lubbock in basketball after Beard left. The animosity was the fans. There was little crossover. Granted, that's kind of how basketball rosters.
I was about to say because there's only like 3 people on the team from the year before.
But still, like it's just not a. I don't know.
I wanted to ask this too. Speaking of Chris Beard, so let's see. Texas Tech basketball 2021. What's the better hire? You get the national runner-up coach the day after he loses the national championship in his respective sport, or you get Chris Beard 2 years after his national runner-up run. And what was Tech that year? they made the tournament, but they weren't. I was trying to figure out. I can't remember any of this stuff. My brain doesn't retain things like it used to. But yeah, 2021 season. 2021 Chris Beard is which one's the better hire? Of course, we know how it turned out at UT. But I'm just saying, day one gut reaction. If you are on whatever UT site there is anymore, I don't even know. Does SB Nation exist?
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's true.
So
okay,
whatever site that is, if you're writing for that site, are you more excited that day in April 2021? Are you more excited right now?
I don't know.
I think now, maybe if
probably
if you're a big baseball fan, that's going to be the big question.
Probably because you could. Well, I don't know, because here's the thing. Recency bias probably plays into, like, if you're saying they're excited more now for baseball than they are for Beard. Recency says we just got the guy, like he was just in Omaha going for a title. Like that just happened. Basketball, I think you can say, like, he's been there, he's proven himself at Tech, where we can surround him with more money, better facilities, so we can kind of project a little bit. So maybe like he's able to do this at Tech with what they have. They obviously have supreme confidence in what they could offer.
Yeah, and Tech did finish. I mean, they finished number 12 in the season in 2021. They were 27-10. What did they do in the tournament? Yeah, they lost to number 9 Duke in the Sweet 16.
And they had that freak. What was his name? He was Brazilian or Portuguese.
Oh, I sort of remember his name now. I know who you're talking about. He's in the NBA now. Anyway.
What year was this?
This was 2021. Or 2020. No. Am I wrong? Did I pull the damn wrong team off? I sure did. Oh my gosh, that's the Mark Adams year.
Paulo Banchero.
Yeah, but that was the Mark Adams year. I searched Texas Tech basketball 2021, and it gives me the 21-22 team roster. So that's why that didn't make a lot of sense. So Beard, it was okay. That's what I thought. It was more lackluster. So he was 18-11 overall in his final season at Tech. That was when we lost to Arkansas by 2 in the second round, which makes way more sense. This is because I just remember it wasn't that good of a finish. He didn't finish that well. So I definitely think
then they're probably more excited about baseball.
Yeah, I would think that. I have another question for you.
Okay.
Should we still be worried about Tadlock going somewhere else? Would he possibly go to Texas A&M if offered?
I don't pretend to know Tadlock enough to say yes one way or the other.
Right. But it's now. At first, I thought, oh, I'm relieved because there seemed to be a decent number of people who thought if he was offered the UT job, he just might take it. You never know. And then I saw, oh, well, that job's closed now. Great. Wait, but A&M opened. Now what? Is it the same situation? Are those people slightly less concerned? Are they just as concerned? I'm with you. I don't have a.
You know, it'd be wild, Michael.
Feel into it. What's up?
If the 3 of these schools all just traded staffs. Like, okay, so Schlossnagle goes to Texas. Tadlock goes to A&M, and Pierce comes to Tech. Like, it only affects these 3 schools, and just kind of a round robin. Like, Just all kind of shift one school over.
Just a little. Well, it's the Texas Triangle.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how high up on their board Tadlock would be, because I know they figured themselves to go after hot commodities and will they figure they could probably poach anybody, and I don't know if I would doubt that. I don't know who they would go after. I just don't know. I don't know if Tadlock would be all that high on their list. If offered, would he go? I mean, if the money's right and he sees a great path forward to be able to put together the most competitive team to win a title, sure. Which I think you can see the program support there at A&M, with the facilities and all that kind of stuff. So, SEC baseball will have permanent opponents starting next year. So yeah, Texas and A&M will play next year.
But we're not sure where yet. I don't think.
No, okay. I don't. The site I'm saying, they just have the like the team and their opponents. Like Alabama's permanent opponents are Auburn and Tennessee. Arkansas sucks. Ole Miss and Missouri is like this.
Ooh,
that doesn't really interest me.
No.
Auburn has Alabama and Georgia. Florida has Georgia and South Carolina. In football, that's entertaining to me or intriguing. LSU, or let's drop down to.
How does Arkansas not have LSU? I guess someone's got to have Missouri.
Okay, so
got to be what it is.
LSU's
No one cares about Mizzou.
LSU's 2 is Texas A&M and Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's a good trio.
The A&M trio of having Texas and LSU, I think is good. Texas has A&M and Oklahoma. Vanderbilt has Tennessee and Kentucky. Oof. Like, and if Vanderbilt wasn't so down, like that would be a really tough little trio. With the way that those, Tennessee and Kentucky have surged, but yeah. So Tennessee ends up winning the whole thing. I think I heard it something like since the '89 Wichita State team is the first team to win the national title and 60 games in the season. The Volunteers did it this year at a 60-13 record. I already spoiled this to Michael, but the Tennessee Volunteer first game of the season this year was against our Texas Tech Red Raiders. They won 6-2. So they didn't score more runs against us than they did against A&M for the national title. So
yeah, that's right. Take that,
put
Aggies.
that feather in your cap.
That's right.
They were 40-4 at home this year.
Jeez.
22-8 in conference play. They played 30 conference games. Not so great away, but they had a winning record on the road, 9-6, which is ridiculous. They only played 15 road games. 11-3 a neutral site. And yeah, they won the last 2, the ones that counted. 82% of their games they won. I think they set the record for a number of home runs in a season. They were definitely a power hitting team. Let's see, what did they hit? They hit 184 home runs this season.
Do you have any? Can you? I mean, my baseball eye is very novice. Isn't even the right. That doesn't give it the judgment. It's like below whatever's below novice, below beginner. But I caught some of game 2 and a little bit of game 3. I felt like Tennessee's fielding was outstanding. These guys were just these guys were grabbing. Well, yeah, A&M, credit to them too, but man, these guys were just grabbing stuff. I had no idea how they were doing it. So I'd be interested to know what their fielding percentage ended up with ranked in the country. Or
well, I can tell you.
All right, that's what I was hoping. That's what I was fishing for. I was hoping you'd volunteer that information.
Tennessee's fielding percentage on the year, not what you would expect. I've not found them yet.
Okay. Oh, so you're looking
there
through
they are.
the
They're
rankings.
52nd nationally at 976. And
okay.
for perspective, first was Notre Dame at 985.
Tech
But
was in the 9.6s, I believe.
yeah, let me see if I can find Tech. Nope. Yeah, Tech finished at 970, which is good for 157th.
Ooh.
Talking about power hitting,
0.006 of a point to drop you 100 spots.
They finished with 184 home runs, Michael. Team 2, granted they played 13 fewer games. The second place team, Georgia, 151. They had 33 more home runs than the second place team. A&M was tied for 4th in number of home runs with 136. So almost 50 more home runs. Okay, so Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, A&M, all in the top 5 nationally in home runs. Oklahoma State was the first in the Big 12 at 9th with 118. LSU at 15, Texas at 18. Texas Tech was tied for 34th at 98. So they hit 90 more home runs than Texas Tech did. Yoicks. Let's look at slugging percentage. What do you say? There it is. Tennessee was second, 607. Austin P was first at 661, and I think they were third or tied for 4th in home runs. Texas Tech for a while was up there. Texas Tech finished 32nd at 514. So almost 100 fewer points than Tennessee. 150 fewer points than number 1, Austin P, in terms of slugging. So there you go. Your volunteers, my volunteers, are national champions.
I'm happy for you.
Thanks. It's a dream come true to have 2 back-to-back titles.
Gosh,
and teams that I tangentially root for when it falls, when the stars align.
Yes.
We talked enough about Schlossnagel. I mean, I can't get over that quote, man. It's hilarious and so bittersweet.
I think so.
Okay. It's okay.
I do wish there was a way I could easily go back through Twitter and search A&M fan accounts in April of 2021 and just kind of see how they're doing. See how they're doing right now with today's news.
I don't know how people do that so fast.
I don't either.
I don't know if
I feel
it's
like they've got them all bookmarked or something. I don't know.
But then, like, if you keep enough bookmarks, you'll have to do the same thing. You have to search your own bookmarks.
Yeah, you got like 5,000 bookmarks from. Oh yeah, well this will. Oh, you wait.
But like
3 years from now, this is going to come in handy.
Somebody was quote tweeting Billy Lucci from 2021. I was like, my goodness, that dude tweets like 24/7 and has for 20 years.
No, I think we're good. I think we're good on
Great.
Schlossnagel?
Schlossnagel.
Goldschlager?
Enjoy the runner-up finish and losing your coach to Texas. Have fun with that. Let's backtrack because that's how it's chronologically in our notes. Let's go to football. Let's start with the schedule first. I think I'm more confident with the schedule than I am with the naming rights stuff. So Texas Tech replaces a 2025 road game, so that's next season, at Colorado State with a home game versus Kent State. So you drop a road game in FOCO, Fort Collins, to host Kent State in an effort to get more home games on the schedule.
And not only do you do that, but Texas Tech will be writing the Rams a check for $1 million.
Yikes.
For canceling the game. And it was a home and home. So Colorado State is supposed to come to Lubbock in 2026, but that's
how that works out.
The status of that is currently unknown, according to the FBS schedule site. That's where I've seen a lot of this stuff, and that it has actually been removed from Colorado State's official website.
Ouch. Bitter, maybe.
Maybe so. I mean, so that sets up next year's. I don't know. I get it. But I think this is just where we're headed. So next year's off off season, let's say off season, non-conference slate will begin at home versus Arkansas Pine Bluff on August 30th, followed by Kent State on September 6th, and then Oregon State will come to town on September 13th.
Yeah, when was the last time you played 3 non-conference home games? It's probably been a few years.
It has, and then you're playing them. I mean, obviously, this is normally how this works. You're playing them all in a row. So, boom, you knocked out 3 of your 7 home games, and then it's September 13th. You're only going to have 4 more home games between the September 13th through December 1st or whatever.
The conference home slate's not all that great for 2025. You've got BYU, Kansas, Oklahoma State, and UCF. I mean,
so you definitely want to pad it with Kent State. That's
as opposed to a road game at Colorado State. Like, I understand
that would be intriguing, and would allow for them to come back, and you could still get a, Power 5, even though Oregon State could arguably not be included in that anymore.
With they're not Power 5.
Whatever. That's fine, but you could still get. I don't have the 2026 schedule in front of me, but yeah, it's kind of a shame to. Maybe it's a overreaction to Wyoming. Maybe it's like, screw this. We're not going to play interesting games in different places because we might lose. Well, pull yourself together. Texas Tech has been losing football games for a long freaking time. Let's at least make it interesting.
All right, so I've got 2026 pulled up in front of me. You have 2 non-conference games scheduled. You're likely going to add you're going to have to add a third, and it's going to be at home. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 home games, and if Hook got once 7, you've got the space to do it on your schedule if you can find a non-conference that wants to travel.
Was Colorado State still on there, or are you excluding
Not
them
on
from
this
that?
website. No, this is fbschedules.com. Does not have Colorado State. They
Gotcha.
have Abilene Christian and at Oregon State.
Okay. So
road games, road conference games at Baylor, at Cincinnati, at Colorado, at Oklahoma State. Home games, you get Arizona, Arizona State, TCU, Houston, West Virginia. You're going to need to add somebody of interest to that home slate. I mean, I guess you're going to tee up TCU as your big game that year. But that's lacking. Well, I mean, okay, you get Arizona State, TCU. It's growing on me. Never mind.
Yeah, because
it's growing on me.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, getting the Arizona's coming. That's interesting, at least.
Well, and Houston and West Virginia, you've had entertaining and interesting games with West Virginia. Houston's kind of a budding in-state rivalry type thing. I'd say much more heated with TCU. You've got them. Arizona's, both of them are coming. You had Arizona State in the house 7 years ago, 8 years ago now.
Gosh, it was that long. It's been a minute, Spencer.
It's been a minute. So you got room. I don't know who you're going to go get.
So yeah, so Texas Tech just wrote a check for $1 million to cancel Colorado State, and then they're going to guarantee Kent State $1.5 million to come here, and I assume get handed a pretty significant L and go cash a big check. It's fine, I guess. But I'd just a little. Colorado State would have been a really fun home and home to have, and it's a shame that that's how this is going to go. And you could say it's to have 7 home games, fine, but if I don't get, I'm going to watch it on TV either way, Kirby. So I would much rather watch my Red Raiders travel to Fort Collins than play another warm-up game at home.
I mean, I get you, but
I know. Next time you go on the road, up 17-0, finish the job. That's all. That's all you got to do.
I was scrolling through the schedules. I was like, oh yeah, we actually get Wyoming back here in a couple of years. Like, do we keep that game? I'm not sure.
Well, I think isn't that part of the deal?
Oh, for their football or their basketball coach?
Yeah, wasn't there some deal?
We added money to that payout.
Okay, that's what it was.
So
and then we also added
to cancel that.
Yeah, and we also added the basketball matchup as well.
I've already forgotten the non-conference slate for this season. Abilene Christian at Washington State, home versus North Texas.
At Washington State. How interesting is that?
10 p.m. though? Not that, I mean, yikes.
It's the Mike Leach Bowl. I think they're honoring Mike Leach at that game, and I mean, what better way to? It's great. That's intriguing, man.
If you say so. Your home conference slate: Arizona State, Cincinnati, Baylor, Colorado, West Virginia.
Well, Colorado and the West Virginia are the big ones for me. Even though I hope Colorado, and it's probably true, they'll be rolling in with 3 wins, it's still going to be a very interesting 3-win team.
Will it be if Shadir, Sanders, and Travis Hunter are playing? Shadir, wow. Come on, Spencer.
Why would they just be sitting out in protest or what?
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're preparing for the draft, or
that late before
they've lost 7 games
before the end of the season. Yeah, it wouldn't be that interesting, but Dion would be there. There's that. There's always that. Maybe.
He may be like, I'm sitting this one out, guys.
He's gonna go coach baseball at A&M.
I've heard too many bad things about batteries and water bottles and tortillas. I don't want to get further injured.
I do want to shout out to the Gauchos because once again they never failed to Photoshop. It just makes me chuckle to Photoshop Matt Campbell in the latest coaching vacancy.
Is he going to go down and coach?
Welcome to College Station, coach. It never makes me not laugh. Good job. I don't know if that's Kyle or Rob, but hats off to whoever it is.
I could see either one of
them. Everyone I see, I retweet it because it makes me laugh like a goober every time.
All right, let's talk about the naming rights. I hate it. I'll just start off and say it. I hate it.
Man, so do I. Okay, go ahead.
So I get that there's a possibility of adding more money, and it would add money to everybody's pot. But if you're going to roll out with the proposed names, like I get that you're not 12 teams anymore, but the Big 12 is the name. Like, and working in marketing and communications and whatever you say, like branding is a big deal, and this is something that the Gauchos were high on too. That's why the Big 10 didn't change its name. The Pac-12 did, or Pac-10 to Pac-12, but then they stayed at the 12. That's why the SEC never changed. That's why the ACC never changed. Whatever, like you have staying power with that name, with that logo. It's,
Well, the smart and obvious move, which is hindsight is 2020, is to not have the number in the name, and that's. You just don't see that anymore. All these other new conferences, none of them have that.
Well, like the American Athletic Conference,
Right.
the MAC,
They're Conference USA,
Mountain West.
all of those. That they're just none of them have the number
Yeah.
of teams in the conference anymore, and that's that was kind of the way things were done there for a while with the Big Eight and all of that. So I get where it came from. I think if not Tech, like Tech has a say in it, this too much. I think if the Big 12 was going to change their name, they should have done it. It seems like there would have been a better time to do it before now. When it dropped to 10 teams, that might have been the time to do it, to change it to something else. I don't know what, but something without a number. But that time came and went, and we're stuck with the Big 12, and that's fine. Like you said, the branding is what it is. You see the Roman numerals. You see, I think it's the only conference that uses Roman numerals for their numbers.
Yeah, because the Big Ten just has it like mixed into the I and the G.
Yeah. The Pac-2 is just a 2.
It's just a flaming deuce. Yeah, so the options, All-State 12 or the Big All-State Conference.
Get out of here with that.
Miss me with
garbage. No, I mean, I appreciate your Mark swinging for the fences on things, but this ain't it, my friend. No, that's terrible.
And like, I can't even figure out a way to keep Big 12 and like the All-State Big 12, I guess makes the most sense. But even that, like, that sucks.
Or if they just, if they were contractually obligated to every time they said Big 12 on television or the radio, they were supposed to say brought to you by Allstate.
Powered by Allstate.
Yeah, or there's a Big 12 logo, and then kind of like when a company gets acquired or something. The Big 12, an Allstate company, that's not that's not the same thing exactly, but something like that. Maybe you work it in, maybe there's an Allstate logo somewhere on every uniform. Of course, they'd be all over stadiums, all that kind of stuff, but to just completely rebrand the name of the conference, 100% out on that.
Miss me
in the name of a sponsorship. Now, if there was some thought to it that we should get away from the number and let's do this, okay, I am still open to that, but let's not sell the naming right of our entire conference for $35 million a year. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for anybody. For these schools, divided by 16, it's chump change. It's crap. No one cares.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm out.
Thank you. So am I. That was it. That was all I wanted to talk about, was just say how much I don't like that, and still applaud your Mark at the same point.
It was 2 weeks ago now when that came out.
Yeah, I know. And it's probably been like kiboshed 10 times, but hey, last week we talked about the game times that were released 2 weeks before that. So we're just on the finger on the pulse, man. That's us.
And maybe they leaked that kind of thing just to be able to go back and say, look, nobody wants this. Like this is gonna flop so hard.
Right. Every school gets $2 million.
If you're still listening, we also hate it.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. Let's seed our regional winners of the sauce breakdown to set up the finale, and then finish up with what do we learn.
I am ready. I am ready. Are you going to run through? First of all, you got to run through the 4 finalists, and then are you going to tell me your 1 through 4? Or are you going to go 4 through 1?
I'm gonna go 4 through 1.
Okay, buddy.
All right, our 4 finalists in order. If you go back with us on this little time traveling journey, you reminisce with the guests we had up here with us for the Mexican bracket with our main man, Rob Bro, Casa Ole green sauce. I can't remember. I can't remember which episode Keith joined us. Was it Ranch?
Oh, he was fries and Fries and wings.
Fries and wings. Caprock Down and Dirty. Mr. Root for Ranch. Wingstop Ranch came out on top of that regional. And then finally the miscellaneous sauces without a home. Michael and I did those solo, and we came up with the Dairy Queen white gravy. So your final four: Casa Ole green sauce, Caprock Down and Dirty, Wingstop Ranch, and DQ white gravy. 4 through 1 for me. I don't know. It's tough. I'm gonna go. I feel like we did this before too, on like just the broad nature of what it's able to accompany, and what if it has a narrow or broad scope, and I'm giving points to a broader scope. While white gravy is good, I think it has a fairly narrow scope. Caprock Down and Dirty also has a narrow scope. Give me Caprock Down and Dirty as 4. I hate to say it. White gravy 3. Casa Ole green 2. Wingstop 1.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see. Let me refresh that list. There we go. All right.
It's refreshed in the dock.
I think we are going to have to go to some coin flips or something. I'm just going to do mine off my gut, and then we'll probably have like a 4-way tie or something.
What we could do is we could have a seeding poll as the tiebreaker.
Maybe that so.
Feels like we're drawing it out too much.
Well, I'm going to put the Casa Ole green, as good as that is. I haven't like seeked it out. I haven't gone out of the way to learn how to make it or anything like that. So that's going to be my number 4. Number 3 is going to be the Wingstop Ranch. Number 2, it's mostly nostalgia. But how dare you say gravy is not versatile? Good with fries. Good with the Texas toast. Good with steak fingers. Chicken fried chicken. Chicken fried steak.
So it has to be fried or potatoes. I got you. It's very versatile. I was
just about to say on a baked potato. So yeah, like I said, very versatile. And then my number 1 is Caprock Down and Dirty.
I love the Caprock Down. Like I will do that to whatever I can order there.
It's the best sauce on this list. It's just the best sauce.
I think it's.
So we've wound up with sort of a tie, but it could work itself out because we could just make that. So Wingstop Ranch, by our rankings, it's the number 1 seed. It's the unanimous number 1 seed. With an average of 2.
Well, here's the thing: if we're doing it like 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, then
yeah,
it works out that Caprock Down and Dirty and DQ white gravy tied for second. So that's the second round 1 match.
Gosh, that's gonna break my heart. But yeah, that's it. We've decided.
We've done it. Forget y'all. I'm just kidding. We need you.
Yeah. So number 1 seed will be Wingstop Ranch. 2 and 3, which doesn't really matter, are tied, but they will be the DQ white gravy and the Caprock Down and Dirty, as Spencer mentioned. And then the number 4 seed will be Casa Ole green, with its average score of 3 in our final seeding rankings. Ooh, it's really coming down to it, my man.
Well, we will get these polls created and posted. We need y'all's help to get these winners figured out. on the Twitter. If you're not following us, check it out at 23 Personnel on X. You can follow me, Spencer, at Puntsuck, Michael at Michael_LBK. We'll get these out. Be sure to weigh in. Wingstop Ranch versus Casa Ole Green and DQ White Gravy versus Caprock Down and Dirty in the round 1 matchups. We'll do that. Should we just run both rounds and just come back and wrap this thing up next week? We probably should.
I think that sounds like
not dragging it out too far.
That's a good plan.
I mean, we've been doing this for a month now, but
it's a lot. We had a lot to get through.
We do.
We have a varied field.
And we've got a lot of off-season topics to get through. We are starting our off-season, obviously, with no sports being on, no college sports. I don't know if you're a fan of the UEFA Cup or Copa America. Those are international soccer tournaments. Those are ongoing.
That was going to be my next question.
Stanley Cup finals are over. NBA finals are over. Baseball.
There's some Canadian football on.
Yeah, baseball's coming up on the All-Star break already. But it's way too soon to be doing anything meaningful or interesting in baseball.
Yeah, I'm just doing a lot of reading. I'm watching 1983. Watching the latest season of Shoresy. I've got a lot on my plate, Spencer.
Well, if you're listening to podcasts, this is the next one too. Tournament bracket: Wingstop Ranch, Casa Ole Green, DQ White Gravy, Caprock Down and Dirty. Be looking out for that over on the Twitter. Let's wrap this up, Michael. Get to what we learned, and I guess we'll do more in-depth preview or look ahead to our July and early August schedule, how that's going to shift. Well, it won't shift. We'll be releasing episodes every week, but maybe there'll be topics that'll be a little outdated because we're gonna batch a couple episodes in a row. Let's get to what we learned, and we're gonna play the music this time.
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either.
And I say music, that's like the one bumper that didn't have any music in it whatsoever. I have 2, 3 updates maybe. So I'll start. Y'all know I was on the Little League board this year. There was a board meeting Sunday night, which I unfortunately couldn't make. So sad. Drama unfolded Saturday or Sunday and into Monday into the group chat, which is just a thing to behold. Board members calling out board members, saying they're being petty and unproductive. And I don't know if it has to do with how this season went or what is happening on the board, or if it's just his term. But the president said, hey, like in September, y'all are going to need to figure out a new president. Y'all need to vote on all new officers. I'm just like, I need to decide if I'm coming back. Likely not. Unless we get some firm commitments on who's going to be on the board and I can get behind them. Like, yeah, I like you as a president, or at least as an officer. If we can remove the people that have been troublemakers, then maybe I'll come back. But this year has been a cluster. And I was like, man, I just wanted to help out and be involved in helping make this thing run. And like, we've spent so much time bickering. We as a board, not as like me individually. I was like, I don't know what I walked into. This is not what I expected, and this is not what I want to be involved with. So that's fun. The other thing, we were contemplating playing summer ball this summer with Grayson. He was super excited to keep playing. Went to a tryout, was accepted onto that team, and paid our dues and all that kind of stuff. But personally, we have a pretty hard, we don't want to play games on Sunday rule. We want to reserve that time for family and for worship. Schedule comes out, Michael. 8-game schedule. 5 of them are on Sundays. It's like,
oh, brutal.
So I messaged the coach, like, hey, man, like, I was up front with him before he accepted us on the team. I was like, hey, like, you need to know, like, we're going to commit to being at as many team activities as we can, practices, whatever, tournaments. Here's the thing, though. If there's a game on Sunday, we're not going to be there. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Like we can work with that. Blah blah blah. It comes out, and I was like, we're already on the outside of this organization, right? Like, a lot of these kids have played together for several years. We're probably only going to be here for the summer. Um, and then this is like, there's too many compounding things. So I messaged the coach, like, hey, look, like I appreciate you being willing to work with us. This is just too many games we're going to miss. Even the 3 games that Grayson would be able to go to, like, he's not going to be as well integrated into the team, missing all these other games. Like, it's just best for everybody. We think that we'll resign our spot on the team. And we talked about getting a refund because it was like team dues were like $40, which included the rights to use their indoor facility and private lessons, and then $90 to play in the summer league, which was just our portion of it. It was not an insignificant amount of money, but it wasn't like a huge investment. But I was like, hey, we went to one practice. It was a tryout. Um, we never used the indoor facility, and we're not playing in the summer league. Like we would like to get our money back. Never brought up the concern. Like the coach never said that would be a problem. Whatever. Um, remove me from the team app, which is fine. We were going to be off the team, but that also removed me from being able to see our chat, or might be able to reach him with besides texting or calling him, and then radio silent. I was like,
oh man.
Okay, so then I waited a few days, just like, okay, just gonna let it sit for a second. Maybe the person that handles all the money, their little treasurer, get it back. I reached out to her today. She's like, well, I'll talk to the coaches at practice tonight, and I'll let you know. And they're like, yeah, so we've already paid the league dues, and because it wasn't an injury, because it was a scheduling thing, we're not gonna be able to honor a refund. I was like, no, that doesn't sit with me. One, you didn't even touch on the team dues, whatever, right? Like we never practiced with you guys, and we never used the indoor facility. So they were they refunded us that. But she's like, but you'll need to reach out to the coach. I was like, well, here's the thing. He removed me from the team, so I have to go back and text him. But he never said anything. He's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I understand. I'm just relaying to you what they told me. So I texted the coach. Crickets. Well, I mean, I guess a partial refund is something, but like, dang.
Yeah. To be out money and not have. I don't know. I know what you're saying. I'm with you.
So, as much as we were looking forward to that, it was just like, man, the schedule sucks. I've umpired in this division. They play all freaking week. So it's like, I don't get how our team and our division, like our team literally only played, there was 3 Friday night games and 5 Sunday morning games. It's like, it's not even a Sunday afternoon where like people that go to church could like go to church and whatever. Like, and I'm not judging people that don't go to church or that would choose base, whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But like, they were all in the morning.
Yeah.
I was like, whoever scheduled this league is a moron.
I agree. I mean, I guess it's cooler. Maybe that's the only thing you could think of. But yeah, Sunday morning baseball is. I can't think of a worse time to schedule baseball or any sporting event.
They're 9 and 10-year-olds, man.
Yeah, and people who, even if you don't go to church on Sunday morning, you probably like to sit at home and relax. It's just whatever. But yeah, that takes that completely out of the equation.
Yeah, I don't pretend to know or attribute any kind of like feeling to what you do on Sunday. But like a lot of people get like a lot of work done and errands done on Saturday, and maybe just me projecting because that's when we get all of our errands done for the weekend. But like Sunday, even just like if you're not like a religious person, kind of felt like you're the lighter of the 2 weekend days to get stuff done. Again, that's probably just me projecting heavily.
Well,
but still,
probably it's probably not that quite cut and dried for me, but I feel like I do a lot more chores on Sunday at home. But like you said, I try to do all my running around and all that stuff on Saturday if I can help it. Now there's times of the year when there's just so much stuff going on that it's just both days are crazy. But yeah, Sunday's usually more of a it's always been more of a restful day for me than Saturday, typically.
Yeah. Chase in the YouTube comment says it's past our bedtime.
Oh man, it is. Okay, let's wrap up with what I learned. So two things. I have a going yard update, Spencer, but it's not really about the lawn. So I'm sorry to disappoint you.
I have a little bit of a going yard update that I can tack on if we would have to be grass related, but you do yours.
Okay, so my lawn probably looks the best it's ever looked in June.
Nice.
We've lived at this house for 7 years. It's got to be the best it's ever looked this time of year. I know a lot of it's because of the rain, but I I went out on Saturday evening. So yeah, Exhibit A, doing a little bit more work on a Saturday. I went on Saturday evening about 6 o'clock and started the lawn. I had neglected the edging for the last several mows, and I just thought, I'm just going to knock out the edging and that'll be it. But it needed to be mowed too, and I thought, well, I'd rather not mow on Sunday or Monday or whatever. Let's just do it all right now. And my 40-year-old body did not like that. It did not thank me for that because the edging it took longer than I thought it would because it always does when I let it go like that. So I was out there combined mowing, edging, sweeping up big chunks of grass because that Bermuda had grown over a little bit of the sidewalk in probably the month or so that I've not edged. And my body was just give out, man. I should have started like 30 minutes later because it was still probably too hot. And it was so depressing to have just, I didn't go balls to the wall or anything. I just went out there and mowed, and the weed eater cooperated mostly. So I didn't have to, there wasn't a lot of profanity or anything from the yard, not a lot of high blood pressure. It was just normal work. But man, towards the end of it, I started dragging and I was drinking water and I was doing everything I was supposed to do. But man, being out in the heat when I'm an office person, an office dweller now, and have been for many, many years.
Drains you, man.
Oh yeah. And getting older and all of it just piled up, and it was just so depressing when I was done. My wife was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I think so." I'm going through a lot right now. It's not just physically worn down, but I'm just kind of mentally beaten. That mowing my own lawn it took me over 2 hours, 2.5 or so. That just completely drained me. I took ibuprofen before I went to bed. I took an Aleve when I woke up the next morning. Gosh, sad. I hope your going yard update is better or more positive.
No, it's not. So the Saturday before I left for Portland, I was like, I need to mow the yard because I'm going to be out for a while. The day got away from us. I was only able to mow the front and side yards. Like, I'll just have to do the back when I get back. Well, in the week and a half that it's been I've been gone, basically, or since it was last cut, even the front and the sides got a little unruly. The back was a jungle, and I'm not even kidding. It was like 8 inches, of Bermuda seed head, and it was a whatever. So first pass, highest setting. I haven't mowed on the highest setting since I moved, since we had Fesky at the old house. I was like, this mower looks funky this tall. So mowed first time, side discharge, get it down to the highest setting. And it changed the color of the yard, right? Because when you get a lot of seed heads in your yard, like it looks brown, and not like dead brown, and just the seed heads change color grass. So I cut it down to 4 inches. There's still a little bit of brown, but it's like, oh look, the grass is green. This is real nice. I drop it halfway, cut it again. I was like, this is actually looking really good. But I was like, I'm not going to be happy with myself if I leave the grass this long. So I cut it one more time at the lowest setting where it's supposed to be.
3 times.
Yeah, I mowed the backyard 3 times.
I probably would have been in the hospital. The way my body reacted to that Saturday.
This was after lunch today. I had some time in my schedule. Yeah, because like I had stuff going on this morning and work, and I had work. I'm also working from home. I was like, let me take a long lunch.
What's that thing I do? Oh yeah, work. Anyway,
I'm remote. I had a call I had to take, and anyways, it was all good times. So I cut it down. It's all side discharge. I put the bagger on it yet. It's like I have to bag it, but and it was drier than I thought it was going to be, but it's still wet. We've been watching movies outside Monday nights as a family. We got a little projector, a cheap projector off Amazon, and just been fun for us to go outside and use our patio furniture and project up on this little screen, whatever. We left all the furniture out in the yard. Not unusual. I was like, I just need to remember to turn the sprinklers off in the morning because I want to mow. 5:30, I wake up to hearing the sprinkler hitting the back window. I was like, oh, I forgot to turn the sprinklers off. I was like, well, I'm not mowing in the morning. That's another reason why I waited the afternoon. So I get all of that, and I was like, okay, one more pass by having the bagger on, and I'll be done. It was so wet, like it was clumping up and like wasn't even going into the bag. I was like, great. I have to let all this crap dry out on the yard. Like my farming simulator experiences, I need to let it dry. You ted it, get it all straightened up into rows. Maybe I can bale it.
That's a good segue for me.
But yeah, the backyard was a jungle, and the grass is drying, so I could pick it up.
The other thing I learned this week is that Farming Simulator, we're on Farming Simulator 22 right now.
Yeah, the new game. We're like, where's the update?
Farming Simulator 25 was announced today. It will be out November 12th, 2025. And
finally,
some of the new crops. I don't want to spoil anything for you, Spencer, but I could tell you, and I'm sure our listeners are just dying to know. But according to the blog post, there will be rice, which is new. I think there's been some certain maps where you could have rice, but the cinematic trailer showed them flooding the fields, so really doing it properly. There's also going to be a map in East Asia, which I don't know if there's ever been a map from Giants in Asia that I know of. I think they've had a South American one, and of course they usually have a European map somewhere and an American map, but I don't think there's been one in Asia, which is great. There's water buffalo, there's spinach. I think they said there's 8 new crops, something like that, but they didn't say what all they are yet. You know, they're slow rolling some of it. So pretty excited, guys. They also claimed that the new engine will allow for improved graphics and physics. Of course, you know that kind of happens with every iteration of almost any game. But this is going to include distanced fog, enhanced shadows, dynamic weather effects. I don't know what that means, and ground deformation.
Can I hear? Okay, I love the detail and depth they're providing. Like I do. Can I tell you, like when they added some of like even the production change and some of the new crops in 22, I was like, I'm having a hard time keeping up.
Yes, it's very difficult.
It's even more in depth for 25. I was like, I just want to run the combine and pick some cotton and.
But you could still. That's the beauty of it. Is you could still do that.
I was on it the other day. I updated it. I was going through and was like, oh, I need to get all the updates on the mods. And I was going through maps. I was like, give me some good American maps, which is ironic because not ironic. It's just kind of hard. They're not a ton of great options. It's like I don't like. I've played on the European maps. They have like tiny fields. It's like this is irritating. just give me a giant map, all right?
I really like the UK and the Ireland maps. I do like those. Sometimes for a challenge, trying to get a tractor down a really narrow road, and you're limited. You can't buy the big bud and just get 40-foot chisel plow and go to town because you can't take it anywhere. You can't even probably get out of the shop. I don't even think they'd let you on the road with it. So those are fun, but there's some decent American ones out there. I could I could give you a couple to choose from. One of my favorite ones is a Canadian one, Saskatchewan. I'm really enjoying that one. It feels very American. A lot of kind of rolling hills. There's a Texas map too, Spencer, called Big Flats, Texas, and it is very plain.
I think I have that one, and yeah, it's just like, well, it is big and open, like I would want, but it's like
here's 6 rectangles, go for it.
This is like as Lubbock as you could probably make a map. I was like, this is not what I want, I guess.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. It's not what I meant, guys. There's more elevation changes in Lubbock than there is on this map. That's for sure.
The issue, if you're talking about elevation changes on that map, like one of the biggest ones that I was having the biggest struggle with is like where you'd put your farm and all your sheds and warehouse. Like why is there a hill here? I can't build here. Like I now have to go and like try to landscape it, and that's a disaster.
That's my worst. That is my least favorite part of that game. That's why I tend to go to maps that just already have some sheds and stuff on them. That I don't even care if I like how they did it, because I can't figure out a better way to do it anyway, probably. So I like those maps. Like, okay, all right, I'll start at this place that's got some sheds. Great.
Yeah,
I don't have to figure out how to do this.
Yeah, that's where I don't have the creativity to like, all right, I've got this all this space. Now I need to figure out where to put all my garages and sheds.
Yeah. Every time I do it, I end up deleting it later. Like, oh, that was dumb.
Which one's going to hold which vehicle or which implement? Yeah. Like, where do I put the headers and where do I put the trailers and which trucks do I need? Do I need a semi? Yes, of course I do. Do I need a personal truck? Yes, no. Speaking of, Michael, I'm in the market.
Are you? In the real market?
Well, I'm in the vehicle market. We test drove a truck tonight.
Oh.
Well, I've driven it. It was for Samantha to drive it and get a feel for it. She hadn't seen the inside of it. It's actually our good friend or neighbor. He's selling his truck because he just bought a new truck. It's a Ford.
Mm-hmm.
It's an F-250.
Oh, an F-250.
And it wouldn't be like
get you a travel trailer, bro.
And it wouldn't be like it'd be one of those like in between. Like I don't need an F-250.
No one needs an F-2.
But we want a pickup, and we want one big enough that we can have all five of us ride comfortably. It's like it's been long enough since I've sat in like a 150 or 1500 level truck to know if we could all like the 3 kids could fit in the back without fighting. As much as they do, but definitely more space in it than the Durango or the car. We've decided while we have the Durango, that was not the SUV life did not meet our needs, especially that Durango. Even when it was working 100%. Big plus. I don't know if you remember this. The Durango's been without AC for years.
Oh.
So this truck would have
I knew
AC.
it was touch and go, but I didn't realize it had that was it.
Oh, yeah,
it was done.
Has 4-wheel drive. It's gas, but I don't know if I would prefer that over diesel. I don't. Anyways,
diesels are trickier sometimes to maintain from what I've heard. I've never owned a diesel aside from our John Deere tractors back in the day. And yeah, those were tricky to maintain. So I don't know if that's really true anymore. But the thing I worry about with a diesel is I would try to put gas in it.
Yeah, or that Samantha would.
I would just space out and just roll right up and do the thing I've been doing for 25 years and try to put gas in it and like, oh crap.
Keep up with death.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, Samantha drove it. They're
so tall.
It is. It's got a few miles on it, but it's also like it wouldn't break our bank, and it would be our second vehicle. Obviously, it wouldn't be our main vehicle. It would replace the Durango, which would need to fit all five of us, be able to handle road issues, which this one would.
Have an air conditioner.
Have AC, which is a big plus because when we have road conditions in Lubbock, it's usually like late spring, early summer when it's dumps on us. And like, well, it's too steamy to put the windows up, but we can't leave them down. So yeah, maybe replacing the Durango with an F-250. It's not glamorous. It's not lifted and have like big wheels or tires, which is not my style. But it's
not the
it's
platinum
still big.
King Ranch Casserole edition.
It's like Oh, I don't know. I don't
know what they are either. SLT.
No, that's Chevy.
No,
STX.
Chevy's is LTs.
I don't know the trim level.
An LTZ.
It's got 4-wheel drive. It's giant. Wanted to make sure that Samantha would be able to drive it. We're talking about like the minuses here. Like I said, it's the same age as Samantha's car. I think it's a 12. It's got a fair amount of miles on it. But I was also trying to tell Samantha, it's like that's not uncommon for big trucks, and they'll kind of they're built a little bit different. Like they'll sustain a few more miles than an imported car, which is what she's driving. But still a concern. But I'm also like, if something goes south with the truck and like we bought it from our neighbor and our good friends, like we don't want that to kind of like sour the relationship either.
Well, yeah, but
so we're like, I don't want to like get in a weird spot because like we buy the truck from them and then like it immediately craps out on us like, you sold us a junky car. This is why you wanted to replace your truck, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I think he's feeling the same way. What if that happens? I would feel so terrible. It's been a great truck. He probably wouldn't. You wouldn't offer that to your neighbor if you had any inklings about it, because then yeah, you'd see the tow truck coming to tow it to the shop every 6 weeks and all that kind of stuff, and think, oh man, what happened?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing. We're split. I'm more in favor of buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha is more in favor of passing on it. I think what would help move her needle is if like she window shopped for more vehicles, especially if we're looking to like just replace the Durango for trucks or whatever. Like, once you price some of the ones that are going that are for sale now and compared to what we've been offered. So I was like, I haven't really found a better deal, like even comparable. But
well, just think of all the stuff you probably haul to a baseball game. If you have a bed cover on that truck, it's going to be super easy to just throw it all back there. And
there
if
isn't
it's
one, but
dirty and covered in dirt and covered in mud or whatever, you just throw it in the back of the truck and you get it and you drive home and deal with it later.
Yeah, and not have to worry about like, do we put muddy things in the trunk? Do we have to go clean out the trunk now? Or
I need to go get gas for the lawnmowers. Oh, that's always tricky in an SUV, not in a truck. I need to go.
Car. Yeah,
you're actually handy. You build like sheds and stuff. So
I actually used this specific vehicle to bring a Home Depot order home from the store.
There. Not that long ago. I mean, I use mine a lot more than I still feel justified having one, even though I'm just kind of self-conscious when it's usually just me in it.
Which is why I think like both of us are on the same page. Like we want to get back into a truck.
Yeah, I've hauled so much brush and so much cardboard and rocks and landscaping stuff. Help my mom move a bunch of stuff from her old house up here, and I've used the heck out of it as an actual truck. So I just, it would be tough for us to not have one in the family. I think it would. Mm-hmm. We'd realize really quickly. My wife's actually more for. Maybe I should get my wife to call yours. Because every now and then I go the opposite. I'm like, man, maybe I should just get before they quit making them, I was like, maybe I should just get a Avalon or something, like a really nice, roomy sedan. I think that's what I should get. And my wife's like, no, we need a truck. But what about no, we need a truck. Think about all the time. And then she names off all the different, yeah, you're right. We do.
When you're right, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I took my mom to visit her brothers they're in care facilities in Albuquerque in March. And we took the truck just in case. And I'm glad I did, because one of my uncles needed a table and I was able to go easily get that and get a couple other things. And I built the table on the tailgate out in the parking lot and then brought it in. And just, yeah, I probably could have crammed that in a minivan. Honestly, I'm sure that would have worked, but I don't really want to pile a bunch of rose bushes in the back of a minivan, which is what we have to cut down every single year, sometimes twice a year.
Yeah, well, and we've been doing a lot of furniture shopping lately. I was like, well, if we land on something, we have to go borrow a truck.
Yes.
Like, nothing fits in the back of a Durango, and this Durango. I mean, you put the seats down. We have to go borrow her dad's truck. We go borrow this truck that we're looking at buying. But anywho's, maybe the proud. I don't know if that would be the right word. Maybe the owner of a slightly used Ford F-250 in the coming days. So I thought you'd be proud of me.
I am
not buying another red Dodge.
Welcome back to the truck world, my friend.
Maybe I gotta get Samantha on board.
Yeah.
Also, so I almost hate to admit this, it's gold. I hate gold. Like, it's probably second worst vehicle color that I would choose.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing that you hate it. I don't really have a strong opinion on the color. I'd have to see it, but it's a bold choice.
The for me worst color is like that dark green.
I don't like everything now. Looks like a pair of khaki pants. Yeah, I don't like that either.
There was a phase a couple years ago. It was like everything was tan and khakis, like almost like they're going like the military vibe.
Yeah, a lot of military cosplay colors there. A lot of Desert Storm edition ZR2
cool Tacoma,
Chevys.
Bro.
Yeah. But yeah, I see a lot of gray and a lot of things that are the color of slacks now, and I'm like, nope. So I applaud you for driving a gold F-250.
I'm not driving it.
You will. You will. It's fine. I could tell. You've made up your mind.
I guess I'm leaning towards it. I'm more in favor of it.
It has an air conditioner, man. I don't know how you've done it. I'm so hot natured.
We don't use the Durango very often.
That was the only thing I cared about when we were car shopping when I was 16.
Was that VC?
Because I grew up driving farm trucks that didn't, and I was, I technically shouldn't have been driving them, but I was, because that's how being a farm kid worked. So I was like, Dad, whatever we get, I want it to have a good air conditioner. And we found that little Mazda had an excellent air conditioner. Slow as crap. Could only fit two. Well, you could fit 3 people in it, but there was a 5-speed in the middle of the middle person. So that always made it
good
fun.
Times.
But anyway, air conditioner was number 1. Crank windows, didn't care. None of it. Didn't. Tape deck, whatever. Fine. I'll put a CD player in later, and I did. But air conditioner.
Yeah. The other thing, I mean, like way down the list, the Durango CD player, media, whatever you call it, only works on like radio. Like there's no auxiliary cable. The CD disc changer, I think, has a CD stuck in it, and I can't get it out. There are lots of negatives for this Durango, and we've just been chucking luck. Is like, if it rains and it floods, we need the Durango. It's got a little bit more ground clearance.
Sure.
It has 4-wheel drive. Can fit all of us. Yeah, but also all those boxes are checked by this truck, and then some. It's taller. Has 4-wheel drive. It is a little still it's much more front heavy than the Durango. But has AC.
That's right.
Can fit us all and haul stuff. Like we couldn't do 5 of us and take something in the Durango.
Yeah.
Like we had to sacrifice seats to get stuff to fit. So anyways.
You couldn't go couch shopping as a family.
Load up, kids. I need you to go sit on this couch for me. Y'all gonna be destroying it anyways. Come with your first.
Bring all of your drinks. Take the lids off.
Dirty shoes and everything.
Yeah.
All right. I think that'll do it for us this week. What do you think, Michael?
I think that'll do it.
All right. That's it for us on the 23 Personnel Podcast, getting you set for the finale of the Sauce Breakdown bracket. You will need to weigh in on Twitter if you're not following, like we said earlier, at 23 Personnel on X. Getting into off-season topics. It's been a good year for Michael. I'm Spencer. Catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at PuntSuck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.